I'm just trying to sort this out, guys. This is my first live ever, so I'm just working out the bugs. I can't see chat, so I'm trying to load things up on a Chromebook right now, if I can. Hey, buddy, how you doing? All right. I don't know if I can get this going on my kid's Chromebook. Hey, hello, hey, good to see everybody. Thanks for coming in. Well, maybe we'll just have to kind of do it like this, because I have no idea how to get a live stream playing on my kid's Chromebook. Oh, maybe if I go to home. Hi, Loretta. All right, guys. Thanks for dealing with my technical, complete, disaster here. I'm so bad with electronics, it's unreal. All right. Okay, so it doesn't look like I can watch live stuff on my kid's Chromebook. Great. YouTube apps, notifications. Oh, wait. Hang on, we might have it. Ta-da! Okay, we're rocking it. Okay, so I gotta turn that volume down. So Mrs. Grandma, what I've got going on right now is I'm filming on my iPhone, and because I can't see the chats on my iPhone, I'm running the live stream on my kid's Chromebook, which is right beside me here, so I can read the chat and film on here. So I'll be doing the back and forth thing. All right. Great to see everybody. Thanks everybody for showing up. All right, let's see if we can square this all away here. So, as you guys saw on my community post, I picked up a sponsor for my channel. There's a totally amazing grow shop here in Ottawa called Johnny's Genetics. The guy Andrew who runs the place grows all kinds of awesome stuff too, just like me. Big gardens, and he grows weed just like me. They have all kinds of soil and lights and planting trays and you name it. It's now going to be my go-to spot. So we shook hands on a deal yesterday, and I walked out of there with this. Oh, let's get it in camera. But that's just a little one. And I'll show you guys why. Okay, here. Now you understand what's going on. Okay. So there's my greenhouse. Okay, it's 4 feet wide. The shelves are 2 feet deep, and it's 6 feet high. I'm running dual bulb T8s, top and bottom, right? So what's happening is I have to have a stupid little supplemental light here up in the corner with a grow bulb in it. And the lights are running out of oomph, for starters. And T8s, they did work great when I got these. I've been running these identical bulbs for 8 years. I've never replaced them. Okay? What's up, FSP? I really appreciate everybody coming out. It's great to see everybody. So what's happening is, I'll take you guys close up here. See my ladies? Look at how flimsy they are. Huge internodal spacing, right? They are not looking healthy. Like, look at this. So for you guys that don't know, they are not supposed to look like this. They're supposed to be short and stocky. And what's happening is they're stretching because they're not getting enough light, and I can't produce any more light out of these. So I called up Andrew at Johnny's Genetics a couple of weeks ago. We talked for like an hour on the phone. The guy's awesome. And I explained who I am and what I do and what I need and what I need in the future. You know, everything from air stones for making compost tea to upgraded LED lights to worm castings and seed trays and living soil and so so here we are. So I went in there yesterday, spent, I don't know, about an hour talking with him. We're on the same wavelength for how we garden with, you know, no pesticides, and it's all organic and it's as healthy as can be, and, you know, same wavelength. And that's the kind of people that I want to work with, because I don't need someone trying to sell me, you know, salt fertilizers for my gardens that's going to poison my soil. I don't operate like that. Everybody who watches me, you guys know how I garden, right? It's as organic as can be. Like, I crack jokes that, you know, I farm bacteria and my big healthy plants are just an offshoot of the healthy bacteria that I grow in my soil. So what I need is, up in the top of the greenhouse, I need a big LED light. In the bottom one, I need a smaller LED light, because what's going to happen is I have to transplant all of my tomatoes, all of my peppers, my weed plants are going to need to be transplanted, and there's no room left in the greenhouse. So I need to set up a 2-foot long by 8-foot long sheet of plywood right here. I mean, this whole side of my house is literally just gardening. I've got cucumbers and zucchini and stuff, all I just planted this morning. I'm out of room and I'm out of lights. I've got onions growing on the ground. Like, no bueno, right? So I went in and I picked up that little light there. And then I picked up this. Yeah. So we're going to open these bad boys up. We're going to talk about the benefits of using LEDs. And we'll go from there. If you guys have any questions or whatever, throw them up in the chat. I'll be kind of going back and forth. So 120 watts, right? So this is comparable to the Mars S1000, I think it's called, but it's like a third of the price, and he cut me a sick deal. So this light, hang on, just angle the camera down. There we go. This one here, I paid $100 for. And it's completely dimmable. Can you see in the box? Yeah, right on. Okay. So it's really important when you get these, when you're buying your LED lights, that you are able to dim them down. The reason I say that is because when you have little seedlings underneath bright lights, it'll just fry them, right? And you definitely don't want that. Especially with this bigger light behind me. When he turned one of these on that he had in the shop yesterday, it was so bright that it was burning my eyes like I was looking at the sun. It's ridiculous. So you guys, you probably, if you watch videos where you see indoor cannabis growers running LED lights, a lot of them actually wear special sunglasses to be able to go into their grow area, because it's detrimental to your eyeballs. So here it is, full spectrum. Each one of those is a diode, and look how thin it is. That's what, 1/16 of an inch, maybe? This whole thing I'm holding in my hand here weighs like half a pound at most. So all I need to do is, the dimmer switch is on the bottom right there. All I do is I adjust the dimmer to whatever strength I want to run it at. Come here, you. And then once I adjust it, I just bolt it onto the back right there, right? Comes with the hardware. And then this one is going to run the lights on the bottom. So I'm going to remove both sets of those T8s that I'm running now, and I'm going to run them over on my second seedling tray over here, where I can just start moving stuff over, and I'll have the little seedlings on that 2 foot by 8 foot piece of plywood with the fluorescent lights on top. I'm just going to make something out of some pallets and some 2x2s and stuff. And then as everything is bigger, it'll be right here under the LEDs. So that's one of them. Comes with the chains to hang them. There's the hardware. Oh, just throw that on the ground. That's the hardware and the Allen keys to adjust it. And then it's just on little steel cables. Each cable just hooks onto the corner, right? So we've got 4 cables, each with a clip, and each one of those little clips just clips through the little hole in the corner, and they come up to the central point on this little beaner, right? And then you just attach your beaner to, you know, whatever you want a little screw hook or something in the ceiling. And because this thing really doesn't weigh anything, it doesn't have to be, you know, you're not holding the world together with it. So, and this one's made by, here, I'll get the business card out here. That's who makes this one. Okay. So, you know, when I first started running these T8s, a little tiny LED light like this in any sort of grow shop would have probably been $500, $600, $700, right? Because LEDs at the time were just hitting the market and crazy expensive. So it was cost prohibitive. So that's the first one. And it's going to be super easy to hang. I'm going to hang these later on this afternoon and get my plants under some lights. So that's the first one. Not sure how many diodes that is. Where's the instruction manual? I'll tell you how many diodes it is. It's got a Meanwell driver, right? 120 watt. So it's got the warm white, the red, and the infrared. And you really need, and you really need to have full spectrum when you're buying these things. When you get some of these lights from Walmart and stuff, they don't have the full spectrum, and your plants need that, right? So I'm not sure how many diodes this has. Lamp panel, 400 by 300. Nope. Screws. Okay. I'll have to look it up and find out how many diodes are in there. Hundreds anyways. So that's the first one. Oh, and it comes with the ratchet, this is what makes life easier. So this is just a little pulley system. So you hook this up, whoop, it's just like a little cam gear. So you can raise and lower, see? You can just raise and lower it, you hang it on the string, and it's just got a little cam gear, so, right? Just like that. You want to raise it up, click, 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 click. And that's how I'm just going to adjust its height. Yeah, no, guys. I paid for this stuff, you know. The company didn't contact me, I contacted them. just trying to help build my brand and support a local company who likes to support local companies. So, and then here's the big one. Where's the top? Top? Maybe top. This is this thing's a monster. The other benefit to this light here is in the wintertime, if I want to grow an indoor garden, I can set this greenhouse up in my basement, wrap it in plastic, and then I can grow in here all year long if I want to. So this one, there's the company, Flizen. And this is equivalent to the S3000, I think it's called, by Mars Hydro. And this thing's a tank. There. See if I can get this out. All right. Now we're getting places. Check that out. Booyah! And the reason I wanted one, so for those of you who are not very familiar with LED lights, they come in all different shapes and sizes, right? Some are square, some are just like an individual light bar. You know, you can get those at Canadian Tire and stuff. I could have got something similar to this from a Canadian Tire. I mean, it would be nothing comparable to this, but you know, you can get these, they come in a square pattern too, but I needed something that's long enough to cover the length of inside my greenhouse, right? Isn't that nice? They've got that cut right into the outer housing. 2 drivers on the back with big ass heat sinks on them. And this thing probably weighs, I don't know, it's gotta be 20 pounds. And 1,350 diodes. Let's see if we can plug this thing in. Show you guys how bright it is. So when I run this thing, and this is fully dimmable too. He said when I plug it in and I run it the first time on my plants, I'm really going to need to make sure it is super, super dimmed down, or I'll just fry my plants. All right. This might be a little blinding in the camera. Let's see what happens here.
Watch your eyeballs. Wow.
Yep. Okay. So, where do I dim this down? Oh, here we go. Okay, guys, so that right now, I know that's ridiculously bright. That's only on setting number 1. Look at that. It just made it brighter than daylight in my living room, and that's maxed out. So I don't think the camera does it justice, and I'm pointing that out my window right now. Yeah, it's a hefty light fixture for sure. That's right, Ark. Yep. Yep. So when I turn this thing on, and I hang it over my plants the first time, I'll probably only be running it at like setting number 1. And as you can see, it's a full spectrum, which is, again, super important. All right, I'll get that off the camera lens here. All right.
Wow.
That's just stupid bright. There we go. And so that one is going to hang from the top shelf. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build a support structure across the very top, run it across the top, and then this will just hang down. And then the smaller one I showed you guys already, I'm just going to attach to the little 2x2 that's underneath that shelf. And run it there. So I've been trying to upgrade to LED lights for a little while. I've been on Amazon. I've looked around on Amazon, but you can't always trust the reviews, right? So people pay to have quality reviews put on these channels. So you can't always trust what you're seeing. And that was one of the problems, is I didn't want to invest in something that I couldn't physically put my hands on, because that's how I shop, right? I want to put my hands on it. I want to look at it. I want to see how it runs. Hey, Stuart, how you doing, buddy? So that's why I'm really glad that I went and I talked to the guy about all this. He showed me a bunch of different lights and a bunch of different options, and this just, it ticked. Like, I had a list of boxes that it had to fill, right? So this hits every box that I had. And with having him as a sponsor for the channel now, I'm going to be able to get all of my gardening needs there. Everything that I'm going to need is just going to come from this one shop now. And all of the Facebook groups that I'm part of, I used to send everybody to Richie's Feed and Seed for fertilizers and all that stuff. I'm not anymore. They're all going to be getting sent to this place here, and I'm just going to tell them to go talk to Andrew and let them know, that Andrew's going to take good care of you the way he took care of me. And I'm building up my brand. I'm helping his company succeed. By him succeeding, it helps me, right? So, YouTube has been crushing my channel. I don't know if some of you guys are aware, I mentioned it before. Just after New Year's, I was up to 4,200 watch hours, and then the convoy rolled into Ottawa. And what YouTube did is, like, I was literally filling out my AdSense applications, okay? So I could start making money because I was at the hours to get monetized. The company's name is Johnny's Genetics. Give me a sec, I'll get you the magnet so you guys can see it. That's the company. Anybody who's in Ottawa that's watching this, they're on Startop Road, right next to the Maurice Yelly pit. They're building where you can go get your aggregate materials. So I was up to 4,200 watch hours. The convoy rolled into the city, and YouTube started taking off 100 of my watch hours a day. They brought me from 4,200 down to 67. I'm not even kidding. So I started putting out more content. Last week I was up to 120 plus. I looked at my phone yesterday, checked my watch hours. I'm down to 87. I don't know what the problem is with YouTube, why they're doing this to my channel. I spoke to Hutch, and Hutch says, unless you're a big channel, YouTube won't even talk to you. I was talking to Northern Girl Hobbies about this, and she reached out to Prepper Now, who I communicated with a little bit, and he gave me an email contact at YouTube to get in touch, right? Like, Esmore, and I don't know, like, I get it. Some of my content is weed related, and I'm okay with that. I don't expect to be monetized for my weed related videos, but right? They don't like the weed, and I get that. I understand that, but why would they take those watch hours back, right? Because my weed videos haven't been getting any interest lately because I haven't done anything about them since last year. So, what's up, Bitter? So I don't understand what's going on. I've never had a single strike to my channel, not once. No warnings. I've never had an email from them like, hey, maybe you should not do weed stuff because we're going to take your hours and stuff away. So I have to take it upon myself now to just build my channel back up. So now I have 3,900 watch hours I got to put back together so I can get monetized again. But with YouTube stealing my hours, honestly, I don't know if that's ever going to happen at this point. I mean, I've got just shy of 2,000 subscribers, 105 videos. I put out good videos. I try to make good content. I'm trying to teach people how to grow healthy food. The weed thing is a side thing, you know, and I totally understand. Not everybody, you know, is into the weed thing. I get that completely, right? But also in Canada, it's legal here. Completely legal. So you guys know I'm allowed to grow 4 plants legally at one time at my home. Inside, outside, doesn't matter. I'm allowed to. That's Canadian law, right? And since I'm a Canadian content provider or a Canadian content creator, I don't know why YouTube would have an issue with it, seeing as it's legal here, even though they're an American company, right? Right? I know, Stuart, it's bullshit, man. Like, you know, I was so excited. You guys saw all the videos I cranked out last summer. I was just putting out videos one after another, trying to get that 4,000 watch hour mark. I finally hit it, and YouTube just crushed my channel. So I'm just gonna keep working at it. I'm not gonna give up. It's not the hardest thing that's ever happened. You know, it definitely sucks though, because all that hard work that I put in, YouTube literally just like, nope, can't have those. Nope. So, so here I am. I'm gonna shift gears and focus a lot more on the gardening content. You know, I've got 1,600 square feet of garden that I'm gonna be setting up this year. So there's gonna be lots of content in that. I'm gonna be doing a grow guide for essentially every fruit and vegetable that you're gonna grow in your garden. I'm gonna do like a soup to nuts, beginning to end sort of grow guide for that thing, nutrient content and how to fertilize them and you know, how to grow certain things grow differently, you know, that sort of thing. And I'm gonna hope that YouTube doesn't take offense to that. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Angry Homesteader. It sucks, right? Like, I stay away from the political stuff. I've wanted to get into what's happening in my country, how we can't travel outside of our country. We're essentially political prisoners in our own country right now. I'm in Canada, for those of you who aren't aware, right? I'm in Ontario. I can't get on a plane, train, or a bus and leave my country because I don't have the thing in my arm. So, but I avoid all that. I haven't talked about any of that. I didn't do any live streams. I didn't make any of my own content for when the convoy was here. We have the whole, the bikers in the city right now. I haven't said a damn thing on my channel about that. So yeah, so I'm not really bitching per se, but everybody who out there who's a creator knows you put effort into this. And all I wanted back was compensation for my effort. Right? You know, there's also a union for creators. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there's an actual union right now that you can join, and it forces YouTube to treat you as a business and provide you equal compensation, right? It's through the largest labor union in Germany, and it's huge. There's like millions and millions of people in this labor union, and YouTube creators are now covered under that if you join that union, and YouTube can't screw you any longer. Yeah, it's called, forget who's, the guy who does the Slingshot channel there, Jorg, whatever his name is, he created that union he created the YouTube creators union section in this very, very, very large European labor. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's his name, Joe. He was working on that last summertime, and it's huge and it's completely legit. So if you're a creator in Europe, you get paid by YouTube. They can't screw you. They have to treat you as a business, which means they have to compensate you accordingly. And I'm really considering to get in touch with Jorg and have a one-on-one with him and discuss joining this, because if I'm going to keep putting out content like this, I want to make my end off of this. I mean, the last year or so, it hasn't been bad. I haven't been working, so I've been able to just put my time into creating this. But now that I'm going back to work full time, if I'm taking more time out of my day above and beyond my employment, I want to start getting compensated, or at least have YouTube be like, sorry, the AI screwed up with stealing all your watch hours, and we're just going to give those back to you. And if that's the case, I'm fine with that, right? But I want what I put in back. And I mean, everybody knows how YouTube screws us, especially in our circle, right? I mean, Prepper Now, it's a running joke on his channel, right? How he literally just sits at no subscriber gain or loss for weeks at a time, and then it just drops, and then he jumps all over the place. Like, it's been a running gag on his channel. What's up, Deathclaw? How you doing, buddy? Hey, Deathclaw, check this out. Oh, baby. Woo! I picked up a sponsor for my channel. A growing company here called Johnny's Genetics, for those of you who are coming in late. So I'm going to be working with this company now, and we're going to be doing collaborations. I'm going to be getting stuff from his company. I'm going to be doing shout outs to his company, and we're going to be doing unboxings, and whenever I need new soil, I'll be talking about the soil I get. I'll be getting all of my amendments. And speaking of amendments, if you guys are looking for quality amendments for your garden, be it fertilizers or anything like that, the only one I use is Gaia Green. That's it. That's the only fertilizing product I use. I have some ProMix stuff that I throw out into the garden here and there when I kind of need it. But Gaia Green is my go-to fertilizer and soil amendments. I've been using them for years, and they have my full respect for the outcome of what I get from all of my everythings. I mean, you guys saw my plants last year. I mean, I pulled 10 pounds off of that Northern Lights plant. That's the Gaia Green bloom. When I use that, it just, right? I mean, I have a picture of me holding a cola from one of the tops of my plants, and it's like this big, and you know, it's like holding, you know, it's like 18 inches long. That's just one of the colas from my plants, and that's all with my Living Soil blend and the Gaia Green fertilizers. That's what that is. So I highly recommend Gaia Green, and this guy sells the full gamut of it. So yep, so here's one of the LED lights, guys. Yeah, there you go. You can see all the diodes. Hey, what's up, Lewis? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. This is actually my first live stream ever. I've been on, you know, a bunch of other people's live streams before, but I've never done my own. So I'm just showing everybody the, you know, I got sponsored on the weekend by a grow shop. So I picked up a great big monster 1350 diode LED. And then I picked up, I'll show you guys the other one for people who came in late. And then I picked up another one, little smaller one. Look how thin it is. So, yeah, I'm super excited to have LED lights. I've wanted these things for so long. So what I'm gonna do is this afternoon, I'm gonna hook up that little tiny LED light right underneath the bottom of that. I'm gonna pull those fluorescent tubes out of the bottom. I'm gonna just push them off to the side, and then And then I'm gonna see how everything grows underneath those. I have a feeling I'm probably gonna have to turn the light up on that little one because I'm doing a 2 foot by 4 foot space. And I can drop it down as low as I want. So what I'll do is I'll just probably turn it up and then adjust the height. Yeah, Gaia, exactly, Gaia, yeah. And I may have one of their tubs here. No. Also, I got something else too. This. It's 50 pounds of alfalfa meal. It's horse meal. It's horse food. So any of you guys that are growing, hey, what's up, Jeep? How you doing, buddy? Still waiting for hello. Eric, I'm sorry, buddy. Eric, I'm glad you came. Thank you very much, my friend. So, for those of you who don't know, alfalfa is one of the absolute best amendments you can put in your garden. By far, okay? Alfalfa has special bacteria that live on it that increase your soil biome in a healthy fashion around your roots, okay? It also breaks down into your soil. It adds nitrogen, and there's special chemicals that live or that are in the alfalfa that really, really boost your soil health and your plant health. And so you can go to a soil fertilizer place and you can buy tubs of alfalfa meal. Okay, actually, hang on guys, give me a sec. I'll be right back. All right. Which one's which? Okay, so this is alfalfa in the bag here, and I got it from Richie's Feed and Seed. It's horse feed, but it's just pressed alfalfa into a pellet. It's pelletized. Okay, this is alfalfa meal, Gaia Green. Okay, this tub was 20 bucks pre-virus. So this right now is probably $26, $27 for 1 kilogram, 2.2 pounds, call it 25 bucks now. This 50-pound bag cost me, I think they said it was $17. I never even checked the bill because I got some potatoes with it too. So 50 pounds for, let's call it 20 bucks, or 2 pounds for 25 bucks. And it doesn't matter that it's in a pelletized format. You just literally just spread it into your soil anyways, and as soon as it gets wet, it's just gonna dissolve. So if you're looking for one of the best amendments that you can put in your soil to build your soil quality and feed your plants, go to a TSC or a farm store, any place that sells your farm animal feed, and pick up a bag of this stuff. You can't go wrong for 20 bucks. I mean, it might even be cheaper in the States. It's probably even cheaper out in the country because I bought this from a city country store. You know what I'm saying? Awesome. Alfalfa all over my couch. So, like I was saying, with the Gaia Green products, I mean, this is just some of them. Here's the bloom. Okay. And the nice thing about using organic fertilizers like this is the plants only uptake it as it needs it, right? If it doesn't need it, it just won't uptake it until it does. And here's the all-purpose, the veg, right? And it doesn't have huge numbers. It's only a 444, but it doesn't have to have huge numbers because, like I said, because it's organic, the plants uptake it only when they require it. If the plant's healthy and it doesn't need any of the extras, it doesn't uptake it, and it just stays in the soil until the plant needs it. But if you're using salt fertilizers, right, like mass ag type fertilizers or some of that stuff you would get at a garden center from Walmart or whatever, those salt fertilizers, sometimes it doesn't really give the plants the option. It just, forces the plants to uptake this crap. And that's how you can end up with things like nitrogen burning on your plants. They'll turn like super bright green and then they'll start getting all like shrivelly and crap like that. That's because there's way too much nitrogen because you use like a salt-based fertilizer. So I am all about the organic fertilizers because you're giving the plant the option of taking up that nutrients as it requires it. So, yeah. What else came with that? Did it come with hanging hardware? I'm just wondering if this thing came with hardware to hang it. Speaking of that, maybe not. Okay, there's hooks. Oh, there it is. So yeah, the lights guys did come with the same mounting hardware, only they're much heavier cordage, right? One for each end. And then much heavier gauge wire, which, makes sense considering how heavy this damn thing is. So yeah, I'm really stoked to be able to work with a local company like this, especially with a company where you have the same kind of headspace on growing food, right? So yeah, I've got a lot of upplanting to do. I've probably got, I have a 72 cell thing of tomatoes. They all need to be up potted. I've got dozens of peppers. They all have to be up potted. The pizza's in the oven. Oh, snap. Where's my pizza? What's on that pizza? You heading out, Northern Girl? PV Mart. Yeah, PV Mart would probably carry the alfalfa. Yep, definitely. I tried to call PetSmart, and here it's marketed at PetSmarts as like rabbit food, and they wanted $27, I think, for like a 10-pound bag. And I was just gonna, I'm just gonna lace the whole garden with it, right? So I'm not spending that kind of money when you can go to a farm store and buy a huge ass bag like that for $17, $20. So that's kind of what I got going on. I picked up two kinds of seed potatoes yesterday. I've got my Yukon Golds and Russets. So in the next few days, I'm going to chit those, and I'll show you guys how to chit potatoes if you've never chit potatoes before. It's a great way to make your potatoes go a little farther in your garden. Because a lot of the times, if they sell you a seed potato this big, there's no point cutting that up, right? There's no point chitting that, really, for the most part. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that, Homestead Aquarius. But, if you have larger potatoes, you don't want to throw a potato this big into the ground and grow potatoes from it. You're going to have 20 plants all growing from that one. It's just going to be a great big jungle. So you're better to space your potatoes out, right? So chitting your potatoes is, it's really helpful, but it takes about a week long to do because you got to let the outside turn into like a leathery skin. Kind of like when you get a busted potato in your bag of potatoes. That's essentially what's happened is, it's broken and it's created that leathery skin on the outside. So we've got a lot of stuff about to happen. So I've literally been waiting. Everything in here that's been ready to go, I can't transplant in the garden because I have no place to put it. You know, so this way I'm gonna put that extra shelf. I'll figure out how to hang those 2 fluorescent lights off of that. They don't weigh too much, so that won't be too much of a problem. And then I'll just use the big fluorescent lights in here as things get up potted, because all of my tomatoes are gonna end up getting planted in solo cups. I'm gonna have like 100 solo cups in here, or something like that. I don't know. At least I don't have to do onions. You guys remember the onion video I put out about a month and a half ago, showing you guys how to plant onions? They all died. This is what I got. So these are all new. I replanted all of them. So if you guys wonder how thick to plant your onions when you're starting, like this, like grass. So when I go to plant these, onions have like a really tight, wiry root system, right? And they don't spread very much. So when it's time to plant these into the garden, all I'm gonna do is rinse the soil off and just gently just separate each one of these onions and to plant them. But this is, when I planted the, I don't know, 500 onions or whatever it was there, these are what I have growing. This is all that survived. The soil that I used was the ProMix moisture mix. It's not good. It does not have enough perlite in it. And what happened is it just caked up on the top, and it was like, right? Yeah. I lost 500-600 onion plants, just garbage. They didn't grow. There's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 onions in here. And these are all my red onions. I was hoping a big, huge red onion harvest. And the other container of onions that I did on that same day, there's 5 or 6 in there too. So if you guys are gonna use the ProMix moisture mix like a lot of perlite into it, or just don't use it. I'm probably not going to use it again next year. I'm going to most likely actually, for next seedling season, I'm going to get away from ProMix, and I'm going to start using coconut coir as opposed to peat, because all of these ProMix products, they're all peat moss, right? And that's a non-renewable resource. When it's gone, it's gone. And ProMix has a lot of problems with bugs in their soil, right? Yeah, right, exactly. And because it all caked up, the little onion sprouts, because they're not really that strong, right? It's not like a big, huge cucumber popping up through the soil. Onions are pretty fragile when they first come up. And with it caked onto the top, like it was so bad on the top. It was caked up so hard on the top. When they weren't growing, I pulled out my knife and I literally was cutting the top of the soil up. And it was coming up like half-inch thick cakes of peat moss mud. No wonder the onions didn't grow through it. It's like trying to grow through concrete. So, yeah. So if you're going to use the ProMix moisture mix, definitely add more perlite to it. So yeah, guys, I really appreciate you all coming into my live. I don't even know how many people are in here right now, but I see a lot of you. So I really appreciate that. You know, I appreciate all the channel support. I appreciate you guys, you know, linking my channel in all the live streams. 17, I'll take it, absolutely. 17, that's 17 of my closest, dearest friends. I love y'all. Thank you very much. So, yeah, so when this live stream's over after, I'm gonna start hooking up those LED lights. I had to tell my kids that they're not allowed to look at them because they're gonna damage their eyeballs. So we'll see if my kids play. How long can we stare at Daddy's LED lights for? Yeah. So I'm glad I was able to do this because I thought I was going to have problems being able to. I need mods. Yeah, I probably do, and I have no idea how to do that. I have no idea. I'll have to figure that out. I'll talk to you guys after and figure out how to get mods. And I'm also not using StreamYard, right? Because I'm on the phone with my iPhone, I just go to YouTube and I literally hit a plus button and it says go live and I hit the button. So I'll figure out how to use StreamYard. There we go. So I'll figure out how to do StreamYard and then that'll make it easier. Like I said, I'm really not good with technology. I mean, if you guys watch my videos, I record my videos in sections and then click the name you want to mod. Okay, let's try. Click the name you want to mod. Oh, I don't know if I can do that on my phone. Maybe I have to do it on my phone. That's where I'm recording from. Orientation is locked. Okay, strange. Ask Meddler. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Joe. Yeah. Rotate, lock, button. See, I don't even have any chat on my phone screen right now. That's why StreamYard is better if you're using a PC than you're using a phone. Okay. Yeah, so the camera on my phone is better than what's on the Chromebook. The Chromebook belongs to my kid. Do it in YouTube Studio. You mean do my lives out of YouTube Studio on my phone? Because right now all I did is I literally just opened up my YouTube channel on my phone and then there's a button to click for live and it just, and then, what's going on, Metal? So yeah, so I'm gonna definitely figure out how to do this. I wanna do more lives. I got a question. So if I run this live for an hour, after add mods later in studio. Oh, okay. My YouTube Studio on my phone is not very interactive. So maybe I need to do that on this Chromebook then to make it easier. Like I said, technology and me, we don't get along very well. I drive fucking dump trucks for a living because I understand that. So yeah. So I'm gonna be doing more lives if I can. It's a great way to help the channel. It's a great way to build hours. And it's a great way to kind of showcase what's happening without having to film and edit and get all of that out there and upload it. Plus, you know, it's a great way to communicate with all you guys. I get to see all you guys and we get to talk and share ideas and, you know, I hope so, B. Thank you for coming. You know, so live streams are where it's at right now. You know, I've been back in town for, what, a month and a bit, month and a half. You know how many people, and I grew up in this city. So, I mean, all of my friends that I grew up in the city. Guess how many have asked to hang out with me in the last month and a half? One. You know, you guys are my people now. So being able to do lives is, you know, it's kind of like all of us hanging out at the bar having a beer, which is what I'm going to do when I'm done this live, is go have a beer and install these lights. So, yeah. Changes, big changes for the channel anyways. I'm really hoping that I can get in touch with YouTube and find out why they took all those watch hours away. At least if they provide me an answer, then at least I can know what I did to have all those taken from me. Is looking for my sledgehammer or chainsaw. Absolutely, Deathclaw, absolutely. You know, it took me 20 minutes of just mucking around here in my living room, just trying to sort out how to get this whole thing working. It also doesn't help that I've totally forgotten my password for my YouTube account. So, you know, I could have probably set this up on the Chromebook, but the phone just seems to work better because I can put it on my tripod, right? So it works a little bit better. But yeah. So I'm gonna close this live down, guys. I really don't have a whole. Oh, B, I know, and everybody wants you to have a new password for everything now, and with everything online, you literally need to have like a notebook. Like, okay, my Gmail password is this, and my YouTube password is this, and this and that and the other thing. Speaking of that, guys, if any of you have tried to contact me through my Gmail account and you're wondering, like, I emailed him and he's not emailing me back, for whatever reason, I don't get the emails that people send to me through my Gmail account. I don't know why. I've checked in my junk mail, the spam folder, the social folder, the priority folder. I don't seem to receive. Thanks, Stuart. You know, I'm literally that. This is why I started my channel. Is that I really just wanted to help people grow healthier food for their families. That's the basis of why I started my channel. I never thought it was going to get as big as it is now. You know, and that's happening because of all the support of you, fantastic, awesome people out there. But I got to figure out why I'm not receiving emails to my Gmail account, and it's active because it's constantly updating me on every time people reply to a YouTube whatever. So I'm getting that, but I'm not getting any emails. Like if any of you try, if you go into my about section and you go to my Gmail, it's greenthumbprepperinfo@gmail.com, and you send me something, I don't get it. Like it never comes through. Thanks, Mrs. Grandma. I appreciate you too. Thanks for coming out. So I don't know why. I think what I might do is squash that completely, set up another Hotmail account that's completely independent from my YouTube, from Gmail, from me as an individual, and literally just set up a Hotmail account and just link that to and put it in my about section. I think that's going to be the only way I can do this because with what's happening right now, I get messages from people like, hey man, like, you know, they'll text me because they emailed me and I didn't get it, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I have no idea. So I've never been shopping in 2 years on a Sunday and had a list. Is it that bad out there, Joe? Yeah, I think I need to go to Costco and do a great big huge food haul shopping. All preparedness food. I got all those shelves built up in my basement. I got to release that video too. I got a video in the wings. I haven't edited out yet, but yeah. So I'm really sorry, guys, if you've tried to get in touch with me through Gmail. I'm not ignoring you. I promise. Like on my phone, I check my Hotmail account a dozen times a day. So anybody who has my Hotmail account, please feel free to reach out to me at that. You can text me if you have my number. If you don't have my number, try and reach out and ask me for it. I don't mind giving out my cell phone number to my friends. That's no big deal. You know, it's not like you guys are going to spam me or anything. So, it's, you know, it's just my cell phone. I'm going to video a local creek and call it my first live stream. Absolutely. Do it, buddy. Joe, when I was at Walmart the other day, I noticed that there's a lot of brands on the shelves I have never seen before. It's like, I don't know if they're importing stuff from Poland and Yugoslavia and whatever, but I'm seeing a lot of stuff I've never seen, a lot of brands I've never seen, a lot of weird products that they're using to patch holes that I haven't seen, and they're pushing a lot of generic random crap. So I didn't see many holes in the shelves though, so there's that, right? But you know, I wanted to buy a bottle of Wow butter because my kids are starting school on Monday, and the only bottle of Wow butter I could find was this little tiny thing like this. I was expecting to find, you know, like a tub. You know, all they had was the little ones. I was trying to find maple spread for my sandwiches because I love maple spread on my sandwiches. Couldn't find any of that either. So things are weird in stores. Things are definitely getting weird in stores. Carly, what's happening? Thanks for showing up. You missed it all. I'll do another, I'll show you what I got. Check this out. I'm getting sponsored by a store here in the city. Look at that, baby. Oh, yeah. Great big, huge LED light rack for the greenhouse. I got that one. And I got a smaller one. Hey, what do you think? Super thin, super duper lightweight, doesn't weigh anything. So, and it's nice that they're just both, they're plug and play, right? You don't have to wire anything up. You don't have to do any of that nonsense. All you got to do is put a couple of screws in it, hold it together, and run it. So, yeah. This is a little one. I don't know what it is. 16 inches by 12 inches, give or take. Super lightweight. I mean, this whole thing weighs almost nothing. Knockoff brand of, well, Deathclaw, the thing is that with my kids going back to school, because they've been doing remote learning since the virus started, right? They're starting actual in-class school on Monday, right? Isn't this awesome? So I've got it for the greenhouse, Carly. It's right out of the screen. So with the Wow Butter, the kids are not allowed to bring peanut butter to school anymore. So Wow Butter is just processed sunflower seeds. So they can bring that to school. But this is that's why I need the LED lights. I've completely run out of space. And so I've run out of space, and I need to upgrade these dual bulb fluorescent T8s. Oh yeah, awesome. Now it's all cattywampus. Oh, there we go. So things are just not growing anymore. So for you guys who came in late, let me pull one of these out here. Come here. There. That's one of my weed plants. It is not supposed to look like that. There's huge... No, Eric, it's an allergy thing now. Like, you can't bring snack food to school now unless it's literally comes from a package that has that made in peanut-free facility thing on it. So you can't bring peanut butter and jelly sandwiches anymore. I'm using, Carly, I was using the ProMix Moisture Mix. The ProMix Moisture Mix, and there's the tag so you guys can read it. What happened is it doesn't have enough perlite, and it caked up in all of my trays. I lost the majority of my onions. Remember the onion grow guide that I did and all those onion seeds I planted? That's what happened. There's what, 5 in here? 6 in here? It literally caked up on the top like hard ass fucking clay in the desert sun, and the onions couldn't even grow through it. So this is all I have in this tray of yeah, total BS, right? Yeah, what a waste. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of onion seeds are shot, and now it's too late in the season to really get caught up on them. And I lost all my red onions, which is a real piss off. I lost all my Kelsey onions, which are world record breaker onions, 2 to 5 pound onions. These suckers are like this big. So that's all I got. And the tray beside that has 5 or 6, and I've emptied the other trays and replanted the onions in them. So this is what they're supposed to look like. And this is, here, I'll show you the difference here. So this is the Pro Mix Moisture Mix. Look at the amount of perlite in there, okay? This is the Pro Mix Moisture Mix with added perlite that I put in. See the difference? And these onions are taller than the other onions that were planted like a month and a half ago, right? So when you plant your onions, guys, plant them thick like grass, right? That's how you plant your onions. So you can use Pro Mix, but if you're gonna use Pro Mix, buy a bag of perlite. Like, you know, I'm not, like, guys, I use a lot of Pro Mix products. I mean, I even have Pro Mix perlite. So if you're gonna use Pro Mix, make sure you add extra perlite into it. If not, it's gonna cake up. But like I was saying, like look at this little plant. It is not supposed to do this. It should be, you know, half of this size, really tight internodal spacing, because like I can blow it over. I should not be able to do that. And this is because of poor light conditions. You out here, Deathclaw? Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate that. Have a great afternoon. Stay safe. Stack it to the rafters. So, all of those plants with mold and bugs. Yeah, it's more Pro Mix. Pro Mix is really bad for bugs sometimes, you know. I tell people that I talk to on the gardening channels that if they're going to use Pro Mix products, take it out of the bag. I'm blowing my plants. No one's blowing me, so, you know, I'm just trying to, you know. So I tell people on some of these gardening websites, Facebook groups that I'm in, that if you're going to use Pro Mix, put it in a great big baking pan and throw it in your oven and cook the crap out of it for like half an hour. Like cook it in your oven, because that way you need to kill the bug eggs. I've had in previous years such bad infestations from my Pro Mix that I have lost entire sections of my crops before they've gone outside, because I was not able to fight the bugs off. They were that bad. And that's literally because they came out of Pro Mix soil. And that's a normal thing. And especially because the peat gets dug out of the ground, right? So a lot of the bugs are already in the peat. It's not processed at Pro Mix to kill all those. Way too much dirt to cook it, yeah. Yeah, throw it in a great big witch's cauldron and throw it in a fire. That'll kill it all. But yeah, so, I mean, I do like Pro Mix. I've been using it for years. I get good results. I just tried to use this moisture mix this year because a lot of the times I use the organic vegetable fruit mixture, but that cakes up really hard too. So I always make sure that I add extra perlite to that. But I figured with this moisture mix, it's labeled as a potting mix. There's no way that crap is usable as a potting mix. There's no way. So, yeah. So Pro Mix is good under the right applications. Yep, you can totally cook your soil. You're not going to damage it, right? Just don't set it on fire because it's mostly made out of peat. So do it at, 200, 225 degrees for half an hour or whatever. But it's a great way to kill the bugs in it without destroying. People panic to go buy overpriced soil today for no reason instead of raiding the grocery aisle. Yep. I think, Joe, what's happening right now is the mainstream media is starting to talk about food shortages, right? It's on front pages of newspapers. They're talking about it at supper time at the 5 o'clock news for people who still watch that garbage. I don't watch that garbage at all, but it's on there. And so people are starting to really wonder, like, am I going to be able to feed my family this summertime? I think it's great that everybody's growing a garden. I think everybody should grow a garden. You can't eat grass, right? You can't eat the grass in your backyard. If I had a big backyard, I would have a massive garden. Um, yeah, Nana, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna plant it a little deeper. Um, so essentially, what I'm going to do is, I've got larger 1 gallon pots. So I'm gonna crank the lights on. I'm gonna get the LED lights set up, and I'm going to transplant various things. Don't have time for a garden. Come on, who doesn't have time for a garden? You're outside smoking Marlboros. All you got to do is Marlboro in one hand, Eric, and the garden hose on the other. It takes care of itself. Pay some little neighborhood kid $15 to come and weed your garden once a week. It's easy. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do, Nana, is I'm gonna take those plants, and I definitely will plant them deeper. Um, in, I have a bin. I've got gardening stuff spread across my whole house. I have special living soil, and it's only for growing my weed plants in. It's got fertilizers in it, and worm castings in it, and eggshells, and coffee grinds, and all that sort of stuff in it. So I will transplant my weed plants into that soil. I'm also going to go back to the company who's sponsoring me now, Johnny's Genetics, right there. And I'm gonna talk to Andrew, and I'm gonna come and I'm gonna try a new product I've never used. It's called Stepwell, and it's a living soil blend. And so I'm going to buy some of that Stepwell, or get it, or however it works, and I'm going to transplant all of my plants into larger pots with better soil. But there's everything's kind of like a step-by-step process right now, because, like I said, the greenhouse is, it's very full. It's very, very full. I have stuff growing on the ground. Onions are on the ground over there. Cucumbers and zucchini and all that stuff's over there. I've got a little parsley plant just hanging out in the shade over there. You guys are wondering, I haven't finished unpacking. That's why everything's kind of all over the place. So, do you use rainwater instead of municipal water? I do occasionally. What I also have is, like, for the inside of the house here, what I do is I fill up, at the moment, I have a rain barrel in the backyard I just haven't set up yet, but I've got an eaves trough for running across my fence. So what I do is I fill up 2-liter bottles, and I let them sit for 24 hours. Where's my camera? And I took my drill, and I just drilled a bunch of little holes in the top. And that's what I use to water the plants, because it kind of comes out as a really small stream. It doesn't really damage anything. Yeah, well water is your absolute best. You can't beat well water. But what I also have is, there's a company called Boogie Brew, and Boogie Brew makes cylinder filters. It's about that big, and you screw it. Hey, Brad, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming out. So Boogie Brew sells external filters that you attach to your outside water bib, and it filters out the chlorines and all the junk that's in your city water, and essentially, for the most part, turns it into like country water. Hang on, I'll go get the thing. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm not sure where it is. I have way too many bins and totes right now of gardening stuff. I need to get it all organized. But anyways, that Boogie Brew filter will literally take your city water, remove all the chlorine and all the other junk out of it, and that way you can use it to do things like make your compost tea, and it's not going to kill all the beneficial bacteria that you're trying to cultivate in your compost tea, right? I mean, rainwater is obviously way better than anything that's coming out of my tap to feed your soil and your plants. I mean, rainwater is loaded with nitrogen. That's why everything greens up after a rain. You're not going to get that from your tap water. You're going to get antibiotics and birth control medication and, you know, all kinds of junk out of the tap water. Fluoride, chloramine. Chlorine will evaporate, but chloramines, they don't evaporate. So, you know, you can sit a bucket of tap water out and go to use it 24 hours later. The chlorine will have evaporated, but the chloramine is still in there. And the chloramine is going to act just like a chlorine, and it's still going to kill all of your beneficial bacteria that you're trying to grow. So, hey Nana, yeah, thanks for coming out. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're just talking about the lights that I got, the LED lights, and yeah, Amy, exactly. It's rainwater is your best bet for making compost tea. Absolutely. So out in the backyard along my fence line, I've got an eaves trough that runs off my roof. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it off at the 90-degree elbow, I've got a, I don't know, 50-gallon plastic rain barrel outside. Thinking of using, I missed that, softened water from the tap might messed up my seeds. Well, yeah, it's your water softener is salt, right, Metal? And salt is bad for your plants. Hey, thanks, Nana. Right on. Appreciate that. Yeah, Metal. The water softener isn't too good for your plants, man. So yeah, if you can water with rainwater, do that. I've got all of my tools and everything in my backyard. I still haven't even unpacked yet. Meth water. Yeah, is that why plants are starting to grow like this or what? Right, so everything right now is kind of in a state of flux around here with me going back to work and my kids going back to school. Salt's built up in the soil from chemical fertilizers too. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they sure do. I mean, that's why these large ag fields, they have to fertilize them, and then they have to fertilize them again, and then they have to fertilize them again. And if you go out there in the middle of the summer and you put your hands, bong water, oh, yeah, don't drink the bong water either. Plants probably don't like it. But you know, if you go look at the soil in some of these large fields where they're growing soybeans or something, and you grab a handful of it, it's not soil, it's dirt. It's dead. The only reason the plants are growing in those fields is because they're just dumping, you know, metric tons of salt fertilizers on them. That's it. That's the only thing that's feeding those plants is salt fertilizers. And it builds up and toxifies the soil and builds up and toxifies it more. And every year they have to use more and more and more of this stuff. And it's not a good practice, you know. Speaking of fertilizers, thought I'd run something by you guys that a lot of you are probably not aware of. So you guys know I drive dump trucks for a living, right? I've just gone back to work. All of the new dump trucks that are out on the market now, you guys have probably noticed that the exhaust coming out of their stacks now is a lot cleaner, right? You don't see all the big black smoke pouring out. That's because all these new trucks have a tank on the side of the truck that contains a product called diesel exhaust fluid, DEF, okay? All these new trucks have it. Dump trucks have it. Even some pickup trucks have it. GMC has them on several of their models. I'm not sure about Ford yet. All the transport trucks are running DEF too, okay? DEF is made with urea. Urea is one of the main ingredients in fertilizers, which obviously there is a massive shortage of, right? So as things get worse with this fertilizer shortage, things are going to get fire trucks using DEF now too. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, you've got a tank somewhere and a hose, or you fill it in from the jugs. So with the shortage of urea, which comes, if I remember right, comes from the production of natural gas. It's some sort of byproduct or something. So with the shortage of urea is creating a major shortage of fertilizer. Along with that is going to be a shortage of DEF. If these transport trucks have empty DEF tanks, the motors don't run. Okay, these trucks become inoperable. There's computer shit in them that literally says the truck can only go X kilometers an hour, like 15 kilometers an hour, because it has to do a regen. And if it can't do a regen because there's no DEF, the truck is literally computer controlled. Doesn't matter how hard you put your foot on the throttle, it's not going anywhere. And as these problems, yes, urea, yep, that's right, and DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. So as this fertilizer issue increases, which it is right now, I mean, Canada is short 40+% of our bare required minimum for fertilizer to get stuff in the ground. Urea is in urine. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you guys want to feed your plants? Pee in a bottle, mix that about 10-to-1 with fresh water, and water your plants, and your plants will love it. Just, if you're on like a lot of medication, I probably wouldn't recommend it. But if you eat healthy, absolutely, I've done it. And I also use my own pee when I make my own inoculated biochar. Because I make my own, but I haven't been up to the cottage yet, so I haven't had the option to run any wood through and make my own biochar yet. But so what I was trying to get at with the DEF fluid is all these transport trucks, they all run that too. And when these companies can't get DEF, or the cost of getting it becomes astronomical, those trucks will sit at the yard, and they are not going to go anywhere, right? They're going to be parked. Doesn't matter how much they're being offered. If they can't get the DEF to put in their tanks, the trucks will not run. So we are starting to see a cascading domino effect all the way down the delivery chain, right? Thanks, Northern Girl. I appreciate that. You spit DEF once. Yeah, I know. I hear you. I hear you. So, you know, I just wanted to kind of draw that to people's attention, right? That's right, Oz. That's exactly what they want. We are directly under attack on our food supply systems. Directly under attack, you know? Like, sure, it may come on a boat, on a ship, and then get offloaded and maybe put on a train, but even everything that's on a train has to be moved off the train at one point or another onto a truck, onto a transport truck. Going back outside? Awesome. Cool. Where's your brother? Okay. Thanks. Have fun. You know, so everything that even after it gets off the train, it still has to be moved around by the trucks. So what happens when there's no more DEF? Because that's getting worse and worse and worse. At my shop, we have 2 huge ass tanks. I don't even know what the boss is paying for it. Another fire at another food processor last night. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I saw a map the other day of all of the places where there's been fires, and it literally looks like, you know, there's the map of the States and Canada, and it's just, there's just dots everywhere. It's not a couple here and a couple of there. I mean, there are fires everywhere. And I mean, we're having things up here in Canada like trains loaded with fertilizers mysteriously running off the train tracks. You know, food's flammable under this administration. Yeah, absolutely. It sure is. Yep. And, you know, every one of these plants, by law, according to their insurance company, they've got to have some sort of fire suppression system involved. So how are all of these plants burning down and these fire suppression systems not putting these fires out? It's just like working in a restaurant. You got a fire suppression system across the top of every grill, and when it goes off, the whole entire restaurant is full of that powder crap. How are these warehouses not having fire suppression systems that kick in and put the fire out? I can understand it ruins the products, sure, but these buildings are burning down one after the other, after the other, after the other. And it's, a couple in a year, sure, shit happens. Electrical fires, or a mechanical system, a bearing burns out and starts a fire, right? Too many coincidences, absolutely. Like the things that's happening with the chickens and the ducks. They killed what, 159,000 ducks up here in a farm in Quebec like 2 weeks ago. People are talking about, no, absolutely, it is not accidental. There's no way. There's no way. Circumstantially, not a chance. Not a chance. There's way too many of these happening, whether it's being done by our governments or an offshoot or the government, or maybe sleeper cells from another country, which is absolutely possible, probable, who knows, right? But we are directly under attack. Absolutely. Like last night I was on Sophia B's Canimals. If you guys get a chance to come check that out on a Saturday night, that's a blast. And last night I did 4 kilos of pork loin into pork stew, because protein shortages are coming. We can grow our own vegetables, right? That's right, Broussard. Absolutely. It's a globalist agenda. They want us eating bugs. That's why Bill Gates is the largest farm owner in the United States of America. He's not going to be growing broccoli and vegetables in his farms. I guarantee it. He's going to be growing bugs and genetically modified garbage. Yeah, that pork stew looked good. You guys want to see the pork stew I made? Yummy. Carly, they're trying to starve us out. Absolutely. It's part of the agenda. It's absolutely part of the agenda. And it comes down to it comes down to one basic principle, right? It comes down to one principle. You control the food, you control the population. That's it. What would you do for your children if they haven't eaten in 3 days? Right? They say we're 9 meals away from civil unrest. 9 meals. How many households out there? I know you guys watching, you guys don't fit into this box, but how many people out there have, a week's worth of food in their house combined in total, right? A pack of pasta, 2 things of spaghetti sauce, a little bit of rice, whatever. I know everybody here is really packing the food away because we're a community and we talk about this all the time. The large portion of the population out there, they're asleep. They're completely asleep. And, if you live in a major city, a metropolitan area, and things go to hell, it's going to go to hell really, really fast. Right? Really fast. And how many people are going to come knocking at your door when everybody else has lights out, but yours aren't? Or you're cooking food and they can smell it outside your house and they're hungry. Exactly, Carly. Looting, for sure. Yeah. I know. And us, exactly. And the cost of food is crazy. It's about $8 right now, Canadian, for a pack of hamburger, or a ground beef. Tinfoil head drama queen. Right. Whatever. Josh, what's up, buddy? You guys should check out Josh's channel. He's doing all kinds of major gardening stuff this year. He's yeah. I can't even boot that idiot. I don't even know how. Ebo, if you don't have enough food, that's your problem. If you don't believe what's happening in the grocery stores because you can go to the grocery store and see full shelves, and that's the way you want to live your life, fantastic. I hope that you don't have kids, honestly, because if shit goes to hell and you're stupid enough to not be putting food away and your kids are starving, that's on you. And you need to hold that in your heart. And you need to look at your starving children and be like, oh crap, maybe I should have done something. But no, I'm on live streams with people who, wearing tinfoil hats. Go vegan. Yeah, I don't think so, bud. I like my barbecued meat carcass. Have a wonderful day. See ya. Bye. Anyways, idiot. Yeah, I wear mine with pride too, Brett. Absolutely. And the funny part here is right now, these conspiracy theorists, we're running at about 1,000% accuracy right now with what's happening, right? Everything that we have said since this virus started that's going to happen, Loretta, I would love to. I can't give anybody mod powers until after this live stream because I'm running it on my phone. My camera's on my phone, and the live chat. I know, I'm gonna set that up as soon as this is done. Because right now, Loretta, I'm running my camera on my phone, but I've got no chat on my phone, right? And I'm reading the chat from a Chromebook, which is just right down here below my phone. So yeah, I'll be definitely, giving people some mod powers because, I'm sorry guys that this person's being an idiot. I know trolls pop up all the time, I just, I'm at the point now where I don't understand how people cannot see what's happening globally. I don't understand it, right? Like, it's visible everywhere. And I get it. You go to your grocery store and the shelves are full, right? There's very few holes in the shelves. If there are, we've had that in the past too. Oh, there's no peanut butter today. Okay, maybe they're waiting on a shipment. That happens, right? Oh, they're out of chicken breasts. Okay, that happens. But when you go to the grocery store and there's only, make me a mod when you can, gotta go for. All right, Eric, take care, buddy. Thanks a lot for coming out. Sure. Exactly, I'm a threat. I don't mind being a threat to trolls, because if I can have a direct conversation with some of these trolls, I might be able to open up their eyes, because every one of these people who is not getting prepared when things go bad is a direct threat, right? And I have kids, and I consider all of these people outside my door who are not getting ready a threat to my kids if things go sideways. Absolutely a threat, right? Because if I'm able to feed my kids and they're not able to feed theirs, I know what I would do if my kids were starving. And it's not good, right? I would make sure my kids had food, and I'm not going to be picky about where it comes from. But I don't want those people outside my door to have that same concept about what's happening in my house, right? As we all are. Protection, right? Home security, OPSEC. That's why people know I live in Ottawa. I've mentioned it numerous times. You think I'm going to tell anybody where I live? No. I'd rather be out in the country, right? My kids come first. That's right. Yep. Kids getting their lunch pail stolen again. Yeah. Aluminum foil, can't find tin these days. Right, yeah, I hear you. Normalcy bias, that's right, but at the same time, when the 5 o'clock news is saying there's going to be food shortages, when Joe Biden is saying, guys, we're going to have some food shortages this summer. Sorry, I fell asleep on my Xanax. Justin Trudeau is saying the same thing as well. He's saying we're going to have food shortages, but we're going to take care of the rest of the world. He literally said that. He said, so Canadians are going to have to suffer while we send out all of our food across the world to supply other countries with food. No offense, but I want my food produced in Canada to stay here to feed my countrymen. I want all the food that you guys grow in the US to stay there and feed you guys. China China apparently just bought another massive load of corn from the US. Like, Biden is selling you guys down the river. You know, do you guys know he just took another 3 million acres of farmland away from you guys? That's the legal highest amount that he can take, is 3 million acres. He took 3 million more acres of your farmland. And your farmers are out there screaming, let us plant it. Let us plant it. We need the food. Biden's like, no, can't do that. We're rewilding. You can't eat rewild. You can't eat a forest, right? Metal, it is. It is. It's sad. And this is being done by design, on purpose. There's no other way. Food shortages, fuel shortages, all of these food distribution centers and everything that are going up in flames, the fertilizer issues, the natural gas problems that we're going to have, and it stacks, and it's like pancakes, one on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, you know, and it's smothering us. And it's the 2030 plan. Yep, that's right. We'll own nothing and we'll be happy about it. He's a green potato, poisonous for people. That's true. Yeah, and rotten on the inside. You know, and I'm really concerned, and this gets me upset, right? Because I may come off as an asshole sometimes, pardon my language, but I have a huge heart, and you know, sometimes that gets me in trouble because I put myself out there too much. But this is why I started my channel. This is why I teach people how to grow food. You know, I started 2 years ago teaching my friends over the phone, right? I used to drive to my friend's house and build their gardens for them and plant their food for them and take them seed shopping and get them the things that they need because they all had little kids, right? And I want my friends to be able to feed their kids healthy food, just like I feed my kids healthy food. I've been gardening since I was, I've been landscaping since I was like 17, so I've had my hands in the dirt for many, many years. But with gardening, it takes trial and error to learn how to do this. I love you too, Northern Girl. You're awesome. You know, but really with my channel, my main goal of my channel is to help people grow food, and I'm kind of at this point where I feel that everything has been building to right now, right? Homestead Oz, you guys are awesome, you know. I really worry about you guys in Australia. Things over there have gone totally sideways. You know, but people really need to be growing their own food. Do you guys know, because I live in the city, I can't grow quail, I can't grow rabbits, and I can't grow chickens here. I can't have any of them. That's why we grow extra, because there will be people that don't. Hi Magoo, what's up? What you need? I'm not sure. I will let you know when I'm done. How's that sound? Okay, I'll let you know when I'm done. Cool? Aiden's outside. He was outside. Oh, he's gone back upstairs? Okay. All right. I'll let you know when I'm done. Cool? Cool. Thanks. I gotta talk with my peoples. Okay, well, why don't you go play outside? Okay, well, I'm gonna get back to my live stream here because we're in the middle of a conversation. Thank you. But you know, one of the best ones, never apologize for trying your damnedest to help others. You know, and that's the thing, B, right? Like, gardening is one of the things I'm really good at. And sorry, getting back to what I was saying, because I'm in the city, I'm not allowed to have chickens, I'm not allowed to have quail, and I'm not allowed to have rabbits. So I called bylaw, and they couldn't give me a real answer. They just said you can't. And I said, I want to know why. So they actually transferred me to a supervisor from bylaw, and he says it's because Ottawa is too conservative, and we used to have chickens here, and now there's a bylaw right across the board. I said, okay, so what about if I decide I'm gonna put a couple of chickens in my backyard? You know what he says? It's a $240 fine per bird. That's more, I can't hide it. I can't hide it. My backyard is only 20 feet wide and 10 feet deep. I have neighbors on both sides of my fences, and I don't talk to my neighbors, you know. So there's no way I can hide it. And property management comes through here. They have access to my yard if they want. Put rabbits on the trampoline, the safety net. Actually, I got a big ass trampoline I can't even install. Yeah, I know. I was gonna put quail in cages in my backyard. I was talking with a guy about buying his quail cages, and I can't even do that. You know, if I had a larger yard, let's say, you know, a yard that was like, you know, 50 by 50 in my backyard, I would put chickens in my yard or quail or rabbits because I could hide them. And bylaw only comes as a reactionary call. But with the size of my backyard, my fence is only 5 feet tall. So there's no physical way for me to even hide things, right? Hey, Hoot, how you doing? Thanks for coming out. Good to see you. Emotional support quail. Yeah. Ostriches. I couldn't hide one in my backyard. You know, I could probably hide an ostrich in my basement, but when they get really big, I don't know if I could get them up the stairs, you know, but I could have ostrich eggs in my basement. What I did think about doing actually was setting up a quail station in my basement, because if bylaw only comes as a reactionary call, right? Bylaw's never coming into my basement. Property management is never coming into my basement. In theory, I could do quail in my basement. And with quail, from egg to harvest is only 6 weeks. And with quail also, from egg to them laying eggs is also only 6 weeks. So there's a really, really, really fast turnaround time. These rabbits identify as cats. These rabbits are my Rottweilers. Yeah, exactly. I could put quail in the basement, but I don't know. Is it really gonna smell? You know, because there's no windows down there, so it's like a closed in, like it's a standard basement, you know, standard size ceiling. But do I want my basement to smell like I'm raising animals down there? You know, I thought I could do that with rabbits too, right? Put rabbits in the basement, but with, yes, quail math, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. You get a couple of males and a dozen females. No, Lewis, that's the problem. I rent the place, right? And it's row housing. Like, I got people through that wall here, I got a family there, and through that wall I'm looking at 10 feet in front of me, I got another family there, right? So I can hear them moving around, they hear me moving around. The reason I'm here is my mom lives a 3-minute walk from here, right? Am I faith? Absolutely. You know, like if you guys have questions, please reach out. I have no problems answering questions. I'll walk you through stuff. You know, like I said, I really just, you know, I want people to be able to grow food. And if I can help people do that, then, you know, we're making this world a better place, one thing at a time. I tried to ask my mom if I could put them in her yard, but mom has one of those neighbors where they've threatened each other with lawsuits in the past because of previous issues and stuff. So my worry there would be, one neighbor on one side is super cool. He helps my mom take out the garbage and they do the snow on the driveway together. He's totally cool, you know. The guy on the other side of my mom, I don't think it would take very long for him to call bylaw and be like, I'm hearing constant birds in this backyard. A hood range that takes the air out and another hood range that brings fresh air to the basement. If you put a quail in there and chickens in the house. Well, you know, and the other thing too is like, that's why I didn't bring Turbo here, right? If I had a large yard, I would have brought Turbo from the homestead and built her a place in the backyard, and I could have had Turbo here with me. But that's the other reason why I didn't bring Turbo. You think I should get the quail going? Then you get ultra hot manure for the garden. Yeah, and you know, that would be okay too. You know, I could just bring it from here right over to the garden and just kind of top dress the garden with it and just kind of let nature kind of take care of it that way. Yeah, I know Hoot or Esmore. I miss Turbo. And you know what, guys? Since I left the homestead, uh, Terry hasn't returned one single message I've sent her. Not one. So I don't know if Turbo is got sent to someone's freezer camp. I don't know if Terry moved and took Turbo. I don't know if Turbo went to another farm. I'm really hoping. Yeah, Charlie, rabbit poop is that's fantastic for your gardens, absolutely. And that's one of the other reasons why I wanted rabbits, because I was just going to set up a tray underneath it and then just use all that and then just bring the rabbit poop right to the garden and just lay it out in the garden. Right, Northern Girls? So, I have no idea. And Turbo was more a pet than just a duck that lived in my coop. I raised Turbo since she was this little tiny fluffy yellow thing that used to follow me around all the time. And so I'm hoping that Terry found a good place. Right? Rabbits don't make much noise at all either. But the problem with rabbits is also I can't have them in cages in my yard because of the closeness of my neighbor's fences. Like my neighbor's fence is right outside my window. I can literally look through the boards right into their backyard. Right? I could put them in my garage. Amy, I don't even have a garage, right? If I had a garage, that's where I would do the quail and the rabbits for sure, even if I couldn't do them in the backyard, because my garage door would be closed the whole time. No one would be any wiser. I would set it up so it kind of looked like a shelving unit. I can't grow pheasants. I can't grow anything in the, there's a, what's it called? Quail, geese, and turkeys. I think they are. They're in a. I'm screwed. Yeah, I'm screwed. Yeah. There's animals that we can't have in the city because they complain. People have chickens that are taken off. Lynn, who's leaving? Oh, thanks, Lynn. Awesome. I thank you very much for coming out. Say hi to Wayne for me, okay, please? Yeah, exactly. Well, what's happened here in the city is since COVID started, people have been trying to grow backyard chickens and they've been getting loose. And so bylaw is really showing up and busting people's balls. And then there was this PR campaign that got put out about how you can't have backyard chickens because there's diseases and city folk don't know how to take care of chickens. They're chickens. They don't take much. You watch half an hour of YouTube videos on how to raise chickens, you pretty much get the concept of how to raise chickens. They're pretty damn simple, right? With the right housing and the right bedding and the right feed, that's really all it takes. It ain't rocket science. They're chickens, right? Meat cats. Hey, I'm allowed to have probably as many cats as I want here, right? Chicken manure from friends tell me how to mix it in with my compost to use it where it is so it won't burn my plants. Yeah, in my faith, chicken manure is really hot. Hey, RJL, good to see you. Yeah, chicken manure is really hot, right? The best way to break down chicken manure is to compost it. You can hot compost it with 60% browns and 40% greens. It's called the Berkeley method or aerobic hot compost. And within 1 month, you have your organic material that you combine to make that hot compost. In 30 days, you go from having a pile of greens and browns layered like a big lasagna pile to a organic, beautiful, rich compost that you can apply right to your garden. It only takes a month. You got to do it right in the right proportions. There's ways to do it. I can help you, walk you through it. You can look it up. It's called the Berkeley method. There's definitely ways to do it. But if you put that right on your garden, you can definitely damage your plants. You can probably, depending on how your garden is laid out, you may be able to just thinly top dress into your garden, right? Because then it's not in as thick a quantity that it'll burn your plants. You got quail. Yeah, I saw your video there earlier. Yep. Bitter. Good for you, man. I'm glad what you did today. After what we were speaking about a week ago. Yeah, don't take no shit, man. Do your thing. Run your life. Absolutely. Keep your farm running. Yeah, and my faith, absolutely. The Berkeley method. Another way you can do it is get some welded wire fence and make a like a cylinder, 3-4 feet across, and then you can build up right into there, and you can do the Berkeley method right into there. It's a little harder to do. I do mine in a pile. So when you do it in a pile, if you're doing, no problem, Bitter. If you're gonna do the aerobic hot compost, for those of you who are thinking of doing it, you can do it right now. Hey, Pilot, good to see you again. It was nice seeing you last night. If you're gonna make aerobic compost, just be aware that you need at least 1 cubic yard of material, or it's not enough mass to heat up to do the things that the hot compost has to do. Like these rotating composters where people are saying they're making hot compost, there's really not enough volume of material in those things. Hi, what's up? Yes, you want to go outside? Absolutely, help yourself. Yeah, I know it's gorgeous outside. It's like 20 degrees in the sunshine. But yeah, you can absolutely make compost in a month. You just need the right 60% browns, 40% greens. I usually use the straw from my garden, the bedding from horse stalls, horse manure, and manure is considered a high nitrogen in your greens. So you can do 30% greens and 10% of a really high nitrogen content, like horse manure, for example, and that will make some really nice compost. I usually make in the fall about 2,000 pounds of it in one great big long pile. If you guys look at my videos, you'll actually see from last spring where I did it on St. Paddy's Day in my great big green fun fur hat, this bright green hat, and I flipped my compost pile with this great big huge green fun fur hat on. So, absolutely. And the nice thing about hot compost as opposed to, so hot compost is considered aerobic because the bacteria are what actually heats up your pile, right? By them dividing and from the exudates that they create, right? So that when you make a hot compost, when you apply that to your garden, you're bringing all of those super healthy bacteria and germs right into your garden. That's what you want, because the bacteria you're applying to your garden is what feeds your plants, right? Because your plant roots have a interaction with the bacteria that colonize around those roots. So the bacteria will send a message to your plants, I want sugar, and the plant roots will say to the bacteria, I want copper, or I want manganese, or I want nitrogen, or I want this, or I want that. And so there's an exchange constantly between the plant roots and the bacteria that literally colonize around the roots of your plants. So when you make hot compost, those bacteria literally help your plants grow, right? When you make a pile of just the compost pile where it just kind of sits and rots and it gets smelly, and when you open it up, it stinks, right? That's anaerobic compost. There's no air in there. And what's happening is that stuff is literally rotting. So you can have things like E. coli develop in there, salmonella grow in there. You can get a lot of nasty, nasty bacteria that will grow in that type of a compost pile, which at the end of the day, after a year or so, if you move it around every now and again, it'll definitely break down into compost. Don't get me wrong, it'll turn into compost, and it's an okay way to do it, but it takes like a year. Thanks, B. You know, I love sharing the knowledge. But but the difference between aerobic and anaerobic compost is if you put in, let's say, 2,000 pounds of inputs into your aerobic compost pile, when that pile is done in about a month, you will have, give or take, 2,000 pounds of compost to apply. When you make an anaerobic compost pile, because it's rotting, you lose a fair amount of that actual volume when you have your finished product. Like I had one of those round compost drums that, you know, with the top that you pull off and the little door on the bottom. And a couple of summers ago, I filled that thing up 3 times over the course of a summer. And by the time it all finished composting down, I had 18 inches left in the bottom. So 3 full composters worth, what are they? 4 feet tall? And by the time it was done, I had 18 inches worth in the bottom. I do a hot compost pile on one of my garden beds, and by the time I'm done, I still have a massive mound of compost that I can apply direct to my garden and know I'm feeding my garden all of those. The healthy nutrients are still in there. Everything is in there that's going to make your garden grow healthier. It takes a lot of effort, right? So you build it like a lasagna, and then you water the crap out of it. Got to tend to the critters. Absolutely. Well, thanks for coming out, Bitter. I appreciate that, man. Have a great day. Stay safe, okay? And fight the power and do what you were doing earlier today. Don't take no shit from nobody. Right on, man. You know, and anybody who's out in the country right now, you have all of the resources nearby that you can make piles of aerobic compost. Even if you flip it with a skid steer or a little tractor, if your pile's big, essentially you're trying to take what's on the outside and mix it back into the center of the pile. And then 2 days later, you just reverse the process. And 2 days later, you reverse the process back and forth every 2 days. And that's how you oxygenate the pile. And I've had my compost pile so hot in the center that I could not put my bare hand in the center of it. I couldn't put it in, and I'm pretty heat sensitive, or heat tolerant. And I could not put my hand in the center of that compost pile. We're talking 170, 180 degrees, and that's way too hot. With an aerobic compost pile, your main goal is 135 degrees. All right, Northern Girl. Thanks for coming out, hon. It was great seeing you. Go do the stuff. I know you're crazy busy over there. You're always doing the things. So take care of yourself. We'll talk after. So with your aerobic compost pile, what you want to do is you want the center of that pile 135 degrees minimum for 5 days. And once you do that, you have killed all of the bad pathogens that are in your pile. You've also killed all of the weed seeds in your pile. So if you're using horse manure in your pile like I do, I use about 800 pounds, give or take. I literally borrow my mom's minivan and I bring, you know, big totes like that. And I stack up totes and garbage cans and big ass plastic flower pots in the back of my mom's minivan loaded with horse manure and all of the straw and the wood shavings from the barns when they muck them out. And I start my pile with that, and I source all the other ingredients. But when that's done, if I didn't get my pile hot enough, the weed seeds, when the horse eats those weed seeds and they come out its arse, those seeds are still completely viable, right? You poured lactobacillus on the compost from my corn liquor mash. Did that work out all right? Lactobacillus is fantastic. That stuff is like the Mike Tyson of germs, right? And you pile it up waiting for the day after the thing ignites. Yeah, B, I get you. I bet that gets real hot. Yeah, because it's so moist in the center, right? And it just, like, I've done that in my little composter. I used to bag up my grass and I pour it in, and then it would just turn into like this thick, black, mucky stuff that I couldn't pull apart. It wouldn't break down. So I stopped bagging it, and then I just ended up cutting the grass, because then you're just feeding your soil in your yard again. But you know, if you're going to use something like horse manure to build your compost, if you don't get that compost hot enough, if you apply that compost to your garden, you are going to have the worst weeds in your garden you have ever seen. But if you're going to use horse manure too, a really important thing to keep in mind is talk to the people who feed those horses, because a lot of horse feed now is sprayed with broadleaf defoliant. When the horses eat that feed, that broadleaf defoliant, beaverines, what's up? That broadleaf defoliant that's in their food goes through the horse's digestive tract and comes out in their manure 100% still viable as a broadleaf defoliant. So if you apply horse manure that the horses were fed that in their feed, which happens all over the place, you will literally destroy your garden beds. Like, to the point where you need to dig that soil out, and you need to remove it off your property, and you need to bring more soil in and remake your gardens. That shit will wipe your gardens out. It'll kill all of your plants, right? So if you're gonna use horse manure, because a lot of you guys are out in the country, right? So you're not getting poop inside the van. Well, you know, Hoot, all I did was I would just put a tarp down, and then when I was done, I would just kind of fold the tarp in half and pull it out and shake it out onto the ground. And Mom was okay, because I'd send her home some compost every now and again. And I feed her out of my gardens all year long anyways. You know, every time I see her, I'm like, have more cucumbers, because I can't eat them all, and I've made 85 jars of pickles already, and right? Cow manure is probably a little better. I've never actually had the opportunity to work with cow manure, Amy, because when I was in Barrhaven, when I was making like these massive piles of hot compost, there's a horse stable and training facility like 3 clicks away from my house, and they have a pile of horse manure that's, you know, the size of like 3 school buses, and it's free. There's literally an access road that brings you right up to it, and you can just show up there and take as much as you want, because they're bringing more out than people are taking. So as for cow manure, I don't know. Because I mean, cows have 4 stomachs, right? I don't know if the process of fermenting their food in their stomachs as it moves around is enough to break down like things like Grazon, which is one of those broadleaf killers that comes out in the horse's manure. I don't know if the cow's intestinal system, digestive tract would, hey Virginia, how you doing? I don't know if it would break it down. I can look it up for you. I can do some research if you want. If I had the opportunity to use cow manure, I absolutely would, for sure. I mean, it's loaded with all kinds of stuff. I mean, right over here, I have a bag of cow manure that I mix in with my soil anyways. So, yeah. What time is it? 4:15. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna have to shut this live stream down. Like I said, my kids are starting school again tomorrow, and I've got some things that are happening tomorrow. What's that, bud? Aiden was, yeah, he said he was going outside. Yeah. So I still have about a million things I got to do this afternoon. Thanks for coming out, Virginia. It was good to see you. Awesome time last night. So guys, hey Virginia, before you go, hang on, check this out. Oh. So I got that from, remember I told you last night I was getting sponsored by that company? Look at this bad boy. 1,350 diodes. And then I got another one here. Look at that. Look how thin it is. This thing weighs like nothing. So, we're gonna plug these into the greenhouse. So when I get them installed, guys, I'll make a video, and I'll update you guys. Yeah, Lisa, isn't that awesome? I mean, this one, the big one I showed you, the narrow one, that thing is, it's brighter than looking at the sun. So, and both of these are fully dimmable. So we're going to, for you guys who haven't seen yet, the reason I got those lights, so here's my greenhouse, right? And I'm running dual bulb T8 shop lights. And, you know, my plants are getting leggy because I'm not able to pull enough lumens out of these lights anymore. I even have to supplement with a little stupid light here to try and get some of these. These are, I shouldn't be able to do this. I shouldn't be able to bend that over just by blowing on it. So I've decided to upgrade, and this is professional grade right here, right? So these lights are going to be a game changer. I can't plant the garden out until thanks, B, I appreciate it. It was great seeing you. You know, and like I said, B, I'm just trying to help people grow healthier food. That's really what's important to me, you know. I feel it in my heart that this is one of the things that I was, you know, when you have a feeling that there's things that you kind of have to do in your life, teaching people how to grow healthy food is just something I feel driven to do. So, you know, if I can help people eat better, that's what's really important. Yeah, Virginia, yeah, the new lights are going to be amazing. I mean, I'm going to have to build a support for this big, heavier one. It's going to go up on the top. I probably won't have that installed today, but I'm definitely going to have the smaller one installed probably, I would say, in the next 20 minutes or so. So I'll film it and I'll shoot it up. Monty's here. Hey, Monty, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Yeah, Monty, I got sponsored, buddy, by a grow shop here in Ottawa. Check this bad boy out. No. There we go. So we're going to be doing good things. And Virginia, with that big LED light there, I can do a 4x4 grow tent and grow right through veg and right through bloom. Yeah, it's no joke. It's professional grade, you know. And he cut me a sick deal on it. So the company, guys, for those of you who are wondering, this is who I'm going to be working with. Johnny Genetics. They're in Ottawa. They're on Startop Road. Anybody who's in Ottawa, if you want to go there, talk to Andrew for all of your grow needs, from pots, plants, lights, soil amendments, Gaia Green fertilizers. They do living soil there too. Everything you need to grow is going to be in there. They sell Fox Farm soil. I haven't personally used Fox Farm yet. I know people who do, and they swear by it. It's pricey, but with the end result that you get, it's worth it. Living soil, for those of you who don't know, living soil is where it's at if you want to grow stuff in the healthiest possible manner, right? Because with your living soil, you have that soil living biome that works in symbiosis with your plants, and one feeds the other. So the soil biome benefits from your plants benefit from the soil biome, and that's what it's all about. So that's it. So I appreciate everybody coming out today. I had a blast, guys. This was my first live, for those of you who don't know. I've just always been on everybody else's lives. Esmore, thanks. I appreciate that last night too, with you trying to track me down for the canning thing. Yeah, I was all over trying to find Metal's live stream when it was on Discord. I had raw pork all over my hands, and so thanks everybody for coming out. It was great. Like I said, if you have any questions, if you want to reach me, it's a little harder right now with getting in touch with me on my Gmail account. There's something wrong with it. So I'm going to be setting up a new Hotmail account, and it's going to be completely independent from everything that's tied to my YouTube account and my stupid iPhone and all that other crap. And I'll have that set up. So if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. Like, for real, if I don't know the answer, I will do the research and I will help you get the answers that you need, and we can all work together so everybody's growing healthier stuff, because we all need that right now, right? So I'm going to let you guys go, and I'm going to set that little tiny LED light up and start getting ready for Monday. I start a full week of work this week. So last week was kind of a warm-up, and this week's going to be a long-ass week. So 4 o'clock comes really damn early in the mornings. So thank you very much for everybody coming out, and grow good food. Like, for real, plant gardens. If you have a lawn and you're thinking, oh, I kind of like my lawn, tear it up, put a garden in, plant food, put food in pots, grow food on your balcony. There's always options to grow food, you know. I know it's a little harder in some people's case, like for Carly, she's on like the northwest side of a building with a balcony. It's going to be really hard to grow food there, but even something with some supplemental light on it will definitely help. Peach is live every Sunday too, so that's where I was. Hoot, it's no problem at all, Hoot. I'm just glad you came by. All right, I'm gonna get going. And Andrew from Johnny's Genetics, if you end up getting this stream, I'm gonna send it to you on Facebook. Buddy, I'm glad we had that chat yesterday. I'm really glad that we can work together and carry this forward. And do the things, guys. Do the things, because right now, every day, that clock is ticking faster and faster and faster, and people are going to start realizing that they've got caught with their pants down. And we all need to be ahead of the curve, right? Because that's what this is all about. We're a community here. We got to take care of each other, and we got to do the things, because things are going to shit real fast. So, yeah, I guess that's it. So, have a great day, guys. Stack to the rafters, and green thumb out. Peace. How do I stop this now? Good question. Bye, guys. Oh, here's an X.